Nebraska isn't just winning games right now. They're making a statement every single week. The Huskers are sitting at number 8 in the AP poll, and the resume backs it up. This past stretch told us everything we need to know about this team. Coming off a dominant win over Oregon, the Huskers turned their attention to the Northwestern Wildcats, a team that has deeply struggled in Big Ten play. We have 5 quad 1 wins, putting Nebraska in elite company nationally. This is a team that's learned how to win real games. And now they turn their attention to Northwestern. What's up, y'all? I'm Elliot, and this is Big Red Fever. Today we're breaking down Saturday night's matchup as Nebraska takes on Northwestern. We're talking keys to the game, matchup breakdowns, and our final predictions. Let's get into it. What's up, Brody? How are you doing today?
Good. Feeling great.
Sweet. So we're going to be talking about the Northwestern versus Nebraska game, but first we're going to cover the Oregon game. Brody, you got any thoughts about that game?
I mean, I said on the post game live stream, but I called it perfectly. It was Wisconsin vibes the whole way. I mean, just the run we went on. We were tied 28 all at one point and just ran away with it. This team's legit. I think we're ready to keep pushing and drag up those wins.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I got a little nervous there. 8 minutes left in the first half when Rink Mass started to get into foul trouble and he went out of the game because I remember you guys talked about, what would happen if Rink Mass or Sam Hoiberg got hurt, and we talked about that in the live, and that happened, and we got to see what happened with the team. Frager and Sanford really took over and kind of willed this team to victory. Along with Hoiberg's defense and the rest of the team, but Frager and Price really being a great source of offense there too, with Mast being out.
Yeah, I mean, Maston Lawrence only had 5 points in that game, and we still dropped, what was it, 90? It's
Yeah,
just any given game, all we need is two guys to go off for us, and it's going to work out well. And this time it was Sanford and Frager, which I think it's just proof. This team, yeah, they had like their star in Mast or their star in Sanford, but I don't think this team needs the stars. I think they just bond so well together as a group, and the chemistry is just so good that anyone can go off at any given moment. And I think that's what gives us the advantage over all these other like power teams in the top 10 right now.
yeah, I agree. And a team like Northwestern, they only have really one guy who really stands out to me, and that's Martinelli. He's been at Northwestern for a while. He's our leading scorer by far, scoring 23.8 points per game, shooting 57% from three, but it's only on 42 attempts. So I mean, we really just need to shut down Martinelli in this game. When we're both talking before, we both think BK will probably be on him, and I mean, I really like that matchup. BK has, he's been a great defensive player this year for us. It hasn't really shown on the box score, scoring a lot of points, but he's definitely showed up on the defensive end of the court.
Oh, 100%. I think BK is going to shut him down. And I mean, not going to get into the prediction quite yet, but I think we're going to shut them down defensively. I mean, our no middles defense, I don't think they're going to get those paint touches they want. And Northwestern has not been shooting the three so much this year. So I really think that's going to get in their heads. And I don't know how Northwestern's going to get through that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, we'll get into the offensive and the defensive breakdown real quick here. You know, we both. This is a pretty simple. I mean, Northwestern, they haven't won a Big Ten game yet this year, so I give us an advantage in offense, defense, coaching, and motivation. Even in a game like last game against Oregon, where they're also not a great team in the Big Ten. You obviously saw them beat them by 35 points. They're not going to need to play a big game to have the motivation. So I feel like motivation would be the only thing that I would question. But with this team, they're so hungry to just keep playing that, I mean, I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, and to add to your motivation aspect, since joining the Big Ten, Nebraska's 2-7 at away games at Northwestern, which I think Hoiberg's going to tell this to his group because all year he's been telling about how like no one thinks you're legit, everyone thinks you're frauds, and he's been using that fuel to get to the team. And I think this is just even more fuel. You never win here. You're 2-7 here. go do your job and look forward to the next one. I mean, I think motivation is going to be huge in this game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And then, another touch on Northwestern's offense. Like I said earlier, Martinelli is their leading scorer. The second leading scorer is Page for them. He's probably going to be playing the five for them. He transferred in from Cincinnati. He's only averaging about 13.8 per game. So, like again, I said, shut down Martinelli, and we should win this game for sure. I think we'll hop into the keys to victory now. I think Brody, I think you'll start off there.
Yep. I think our biggest thing is going to be that perimeter battle. I mean, our biggest weapon has been the ability to stretch the floor this year with massed out wide and everything. And we saw it last game. We knocked down 17 threes, which was one shy of the team record, actually. And it just opens up everything because you have your driving lanes, your kickouts, your transition buckets. And Northwestern can struggle defending the arc. So if Nebraska hunts for these good shots early and often, especially through good ball movement, I think we're just going to play beautifully.
Sweet. And then the next one is control the tempo for sure. Northwestern is going to want to slow the game down and grind possessions. With only Martinelli averaging over 20 points for them and nobody else really close, they're going to want to keep this a low scoring game. So Nebraska needs to push the pace for sure. When opportunities are there, get defensive rebounds, turnovers, and not let this turn into a half court rock fight when Nebraska plays fast, but under control. They're at their best for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think even if we get to that half court aspect, I think Fred still can control that game pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
I think regardless, it's going to look great. But another aspect is protecting the basketball. I mean, Northwestern thrives when they can capitalize on mistakes. Live ball turnovers lead to easy points and keep teams hanging around a lot. And Nebraska needs to stay disciplined with these passes because not often, but every once in a while you see our lazy decisions and lazy ball passes, which just kill our momentum. And especially on the road in the Big Ten, killing your momentum on one possession can just control the whole game. And you need to make sure you're in a good spot there and just limiting those turnovers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and being lazy with the passes, like you just said, I feel like I saw that a lot in the non-con games. In between the first two Big Ten games and where we're at now, where they were down at half or tied. It just seemed like they had a lot of dumb turnovers where easily could have just been, hey, don't pass it there or something like that. I feel like if they just limit those, it should be pretty easy for them to protect the basketball in this one. And then the next one is to win the rebounding battle. That's an effort stat for sure. I mean, we saw that the last game against Oregon. You could just see Nebraska's effort was there on offense. I mean, on defense for sure. Just always getting those rebounds and getting steals a lot too. Nebraska has to finish defensive possessions by securing rebounds and then to limit second chance points. And one shot and done needs to be the mentality for sure.
100%. Rebounding has been our big thing all year. That even we're not doing it till we find a way to win. But I think if you get those rebounds on Saturday, it's going to be a whole different ball game. You can easily walk out there with a victory. But I think honestly the biggest thing is setting the tone defensively, because our no middles defense is going to be huge against Northwestern. Because this team does not like shooting threes. They're going to try and get to the paint very often, and if you can control that paint, you win the game easily. Because Northwestern, if they're out of their comfort zone putting up these threes, I think it's just they're not going to hit them obviously. And if you're winning that rebounding battle with those missed threes, can just run away with it.
Yeah, and setting the tone defensively, Nebraska had 11 steals the last game against Oregon. If they can keep that up, especially with the performance from, Sam Hoiberger, they're calling him Sam Burglar or something like that. I've seen that on Twitter a few times, but yeah, if he's had 6 steals, which is what was a PBA, I think record at PBA, and 2 away from the all-time record at Nebraska. So I mean, that was just an amazing performance defensively from him for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think this one should be an easy victory for us. I mean, we saw some what was that metric we were talking about before that had us only winning by 5?
Bart Torvik has us only win by 5 this game. So
yeah, I mean, I like us at maybe 77 or 80, close to there, but I don't really see a game where Northwestern gets to 70 points against, especially how our defense has played recently. That last game against Oregon, just complete domination on defense. I mean, you could see, that almost entire second half, Oregon just seemed defeated. I mean, I saw a few possessions for us on offense where, Oregon wasn't even, rotating. I mean, we just had guys shooting wide open shots and they weren't really, getting there on defense.
Yeah. I was at the game and I sat kind of by the media section, and I think it was either like just under 10 minutes left. We had scored again as we were, and we're up about 30. And I saw about four players from Oregon put their hands on their hips and their knees in just absolute defeat. And there's
Yeah,
still 8 minutes left in the ball game at that point. And if Nebraska can do what they did last game on Saturday, I think they're just gonna walk away with it. And like you said, I don't know if Northwestern gets that 60 on us. It's just I think our defense is gonna shut them down, honestly.
agreed. And I think Fred Hoiberg and the defensive staff have done a really good job, especially against teams that have one or two, especially just when they have one offensive threat. Just keying in on him and not letting him get the opportunities. I mean, I don't know how many games we've had this year where the announcers are pointing out that their leading scorer has less than 10 points or, way under his average, especially going into half. And so I feel like they'll have a great plan for Martinelli because, if you shut him down, I mean, Northwestern's going to have to find someone else to score, and they really just haven't so far this year.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I do think though our offense may not be as on as they were on Monday or Tuesday. I
Agreed.
mean, because Northwestern, I think their biggest story would be their defensive aspect. That's what's been keeping them in games. Because
Mhm.
I mean, teams been scoring about the 70s against them, and I think we're kind of due for a little stinker like that. I think it. I'll go into my prediction here real quick with us, but I could see us being like a 72 to like a 58 win, where we're not scoring as much, but we still run away with it and help the metrics out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would probably agree with that. I'd say my record prediction would be around Nebraska 75, Northwestern maybe let's say 62 there. I mean, I think we're going to easily win this one. Um, you know, I don't know if it'll be a game that we see, us empty the entire bench there at the end like we did against Oregon, but I feel like it should be a pretty, easy win for us on Saturday.
100%. And you brought up emptying the bench. I mean, that is not happening in conference play.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot about how this team's going to finish the year. So,
Yeah, yeah. Seeing them empty the bench in conference play, yeah, that is just something you don't see for sure. All right. Any other thoughts? All right. All right. And then just a little quick shout out. We will be doing a transfer portal breakdown tomorrow. That'll be out on the channel. And then obviously we'll be doing another post game live show. Make sure you hop in there and ask all the questions you got after that game. Give us your thoughts and your takes too, for sure. Anything else from you, Brody?
no, just go Big Red 690.
Sweet. All right. You guys make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to Big Red Fever. And y'all have a good one. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.